Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Colm O'Regan Wants a Word. This programme is about words and the way we speak here in Ireland. It's in two parts. Last time out it was Colm O'Regan Wants a Word in private, the way we talk among ourselves and among our neighbours. This time we're talking about Colm O'Regan Wants a Word in public. It's about the Irish on telly, on social media, in the wonderful world of work, the inspiration, the passion, the excuse me now, Minister, I didn't interrupt you. So we will be talking about all the kind of things we utter in public. Just like last time, I'm joined by two very talented comedians. Ladies and gentlemen, Flynn and Paul Tylack. And ladies and gentlemen, also we have an expert here because clearly I'm actually only talking horse manure. So we need to bring somebody to lend a bit of credibility to it. That person is Margaret E Ward, CEO of Clear Inc. Margaret, you're an expert on clear communication. You meet clients every day. Your job is to get them to try and speak and write clearly. What's that like?
Yeah, it's interesting because, you know, we're a nation of wafflers here, really, you know. So trying to get them to get rid of the jargon and the academic speak and the corporate stuff and the leaden cement-like language and teaching them how to speak in language and write in language, it's just really human.
I found what you said really empowering.
I know.
So we are talking an awful lot more in public now. Let's glory in the best of the way the Irish talk out loud and in public. You see the best of us in many excellent locations. You see us on Winning Streak, the National Lottery game show. You see us standing behind Marty Morrissey outside Croke Park. But first, where you hear us talk at our best, it's this. I'm now going to present, with the help of Tara and Paul, Colm O'Regan's guide to getting on Liveline. Lots of people want to get on Liveline. There are many issues in the country, so you need to make the most of your time. First of all, you either need a proper Dublin accent or a strong Culture accent.
Hello, Joe. I was just listening to your programme there now and I had to ring in.
The accent is important in terms of resonance with the listeners. Rightly or wrongly, we don't think somebody with a posh accent really has a problem. So, listen to Paul bring two problems with two different accents to Joe and see who do you have more empathy with, regardless of the problem.
Yeah, hiya, Joe. Absolutely fantastic to speak with you. It's just been really tough, Joe. You know, I've lost everything I own in a house fire, Joe.
Whereas on the other hand...
How are you, Joe? Listen, I'm after losing one of me socks, Joe.
Then do a little bit of plomossing of Joe.
First of all, can I say you're doing a great job, Joe?
It'll buy you some time in case you turn out later to be a complete mentaler.
Single mothers, Joe, they've the country ruined.
At some point, drop in a reference to race.
Well, he was a coloured chap, Joe. Now, look, I've nothing against them, each to their own, but we have to look after our own first.
If you're a mother, make sure to say you're a mother, regardless of whether it's relevant or not.
Hello, Joe. Just calling in there about the discovery of a new planet, Joe. Now, it's Mother, Joe.
And everything is a disgrace.
It's a disgrace.
As a father myself, Joe, you know, you don't want your kids to be looking at that, you know, two fellas. Disgraceful.
And if all else fails, imply that the country is headed for some sort of apocalyptic scenario due to the fact that we have turned our backs on God.
What happened in Sodom and Gomorrah? Dublin might experience Sodom and Gomorrah in the not-too-distant future. And you'll remember my words if it happens.
I love that bit at the end. It's Joe's sigh. on realising he's talking to another one of these Sodom and Gomorrah merchants. It's wonderful.
Happens.
Or what you could do is just say something that if you took it out of context, it might sound a little odd.
You swear you're sitting in front of a vibrator. That's how bad they are gone.
I think if you're sitting in front of a vibrator, you might be using it wrong. But anyway, Margaret, is there something about our communication style here in Ireland that prefers the intermediary, like live line? Like, is it the same? I know you were born in America. Is it the same in America? Would people pursue the government more directly?
Well, that's definitely a loaded question. Yeah. I'm here 20 years now, Irish parents.
You're still a blow-in, but anyway.
I'm still a blow-in. Yeah, I know I will be forevermore. I think in general, Americans complain loudly and often, and they use their feet, right? So they don't like a restaurant, they will stand up and say, I hate this place, the food is awful, I'm out of here. And they just leave. You can't really see that happening in Ireland. The other weird thing about Americans and Irish people is Americans feel really safe when they complain. That's why they just complain. They complain about everything. This isn't right, that isn't right. But it's a really big place. So you're not necessarily sitting next to somebody you know. Whereas here, if you complain, and you know how Irish people, they look over their shoulder before they look both ways, look left, look right. Now, I'm going to complain. I'm going to send this dinner back,
I think it might be fear of being accused of having notions. Might be the problem. There is another great place to hear the true Irish voice. I love watching Winning Streak. I love watching the contestants, but also the audience. Have you ever watched when the camera pans to the audience and they realise that Granny is not going to win the amount of money they had budgeted for? And it's great, of course, that Marty Whelan is back. Marty is the best person to talk to the Winning Streak contestant. He knows it's not about what you say to them, it's how you say it. No one can talk to an Irish mammy like Marty Whelan.
Is that your mascot, Mary? Who's that? Is that one of these Cabbage Patch dolls? Is it Mary?
Oh, no, Marty. It's a photo of my daughter.
Speaking of Martys, the other classic Irish television situation is when Marty Morrissey is sampling the atmosphere among the fans before a big match in Croke Park. There are a number of key elements to a good pre-match interview with a supporter. The supporter must have a proper culchy accent. And this is the kind of accent of somebody who only comes to Dublin for the latter end of the GAA Championship or to see the Pope. And it's the kind of person who can't fathom why it's not possible to park next to the spire. The second thing is that you have to guess in your interview that the match will be tight enough and then give a small winning margin. The third thing when you're being interviewed for your opinion on the match is to, for some reason, lose your mind completely towards the end of the interview and interrupt yourself with the word woohoo, even if you've never said it before and have only seen it written down.
How do you think it's going to go?
Well, I'd say we'll be there or thereabouts, but I'm going to go for Kerry by 2 points. Ah, come on, the kingdom! Woo!
The classic display of GAA speaking in public is the GAA player interviewed after the match. You'll notice it is a point of extreme control and modesty. No matter what they did on the pitch, they'll never dare say that what they did was due to any kind of skill whatsoever, or in fact that they did it on purpose. You will see somebody being interviewed, and no matter what they did, it could be the most amazing, almost superhuman feat. The interviewer will say, "What an amazing goal you scored. You ran 400 yards through 2 parishes. You fought off a tribe of Amazonian Indians and you scored from 40 yards with the outside of your inner ear. You must be very, very proud of yourself." And they'll reply with, no, Michael, we were lucky now, in fairness. The Amazonian Indians, they're a young tribe. They'll be back again next year. No, I was just lucky now that I just found myself in a bit of space. The other element of good public speaking is after the match, particularly the big match. the All-Ireland winning speech. I think sometimes they must study the style well in advance because they're all quite similar. Now, there are some exceptions, some notable, wonderful, historic exceptions.
People of Galway, we love you!
But most of the time, all of the speeches are quite similar. In fact, I think you could study them as a specialist topic on one of my favourite quizzes, Mastermind.
Dennis Doran from the village of Drumshollocks, and your specialist topic is All-Ireland victory speeches, and your time starts now. What does this All-Ireland win make up for?
The long nights in January.
How many of you were out there on the pitch?
Well, there was 15 of us out there on the pitch.
Incorrect. In fact, there were 21 of you, not forgetting the lads who came on and did a job. Also, all those who have been on and off the panel since day one, pushing everyone to give 110%. What did they, meaning the 15 of you who were out there on the pitch, the subs who came on, and the lads who have been around the panel since day one, pushing everyone to give 110%, do?
They stood up and were counted.
At what point?
When it mattered.
Who do you need to thank above all?
Pass.
Who did you nearly forget?
Oh, Mrs. Deegan and the ladies for all the chicken suppers after training.
What did your team do with the ball that you think was the difference at the end of the day?
Pass.
Correct. How many cheers for the losing that you'll do anyway, regardless of the fact that it sounds patronising?
3.
Where will you see us all?
Down below in Dan Dempsey's bar.
How much crack will there be? I've started, so I'll finish. How much crack will there be there, would you say?
There'll be some amount of crack.
You passed on one. That one man is Johnny Buckley, who sat you down 18 months ago and told you could go all the way. The, quote, one man who believed in you.
But you don't need to have done anything amazing anymore to appear in public. We're now all in public thanks to social media. The main social network, of course, that most of us are on is Facebook. And if you're not familiar with it, we'll give you a very quick guide to Facebook by just telling you the kind of people that you are likely to meet on Facebook. First of all, there is the person who leaves the cryptic, passive-aggressive message.
Some people. You know who oo are. If oo want to just be saying negative shit about people, just need to get a lift. I just gonna live my life.
The person who replies to that burst of attention seeking.
Know what you mean, hon. They just don't have NE manners.
The lad who replies to serious passive-aggressive updates with a joke.
Not a good day, you guys, ...
What's the matter? Did oo not get oor hole?
The person who thinks that they are the only ones who can see the truth and that everyone else is blind.
Yeah, continue to believe the lies of the establishment, sheeple. I'll think of ye when the Illuminati come to your house.
The person who puts up a photo of a flower and an inspirational quote.
A sister is a friend you make from the moment you are born or they are born. Depends who's older. They are your guardian angel. Tag every sister or you will get piled.
The man who uses Nazi phrases to describe people that he merely has a mild disagreement with.
Feminazis. It's political correctness gone mad, just like in Hitler's Germany.
The mammy who uses Facebook to talk to her children, irrespective of the fact that the whole world is reading the updates.
Mary, will oo give me a ring? Don't know if you are dead or alive or what. Love, ma'am, X.
Margaret, what has social media done to our language? Does it make us all talk the same? Are we Is it more democratic, or are we snobbish about it? What do you think?
Yeah, it's funny because, again, in the companies where I go into work, you have people who work there who are in their 50s and 60s who generally don't use social media. And then you have younger people coming in who are their 20s who do use social media. But the problem in terms of language in the organization is at the top, right? Because they, went to private schools and they write very formal language, so they're writing to customers, thank you for the letter dated the 9th of January 2016. We regret to inform you. Where people who use social media are like, ta, And you go, okay, well, what's more effective, really, and user-friendly? Maybe the ta is more the way people speak. So I think social media has been great for democratizing language because it's forced these big businesses and governments and politicians and everybody else to kind of realize, the language that people use with one another is more conversational. And if we want to get more buy-in from people, we need to use that language. So they've kind of had to climb down off their jargon and academia speak, business buzzword, lingo, and talk to people using simple language they understand.
That brings us neatly, actually, to our next bit. We want to talk about jargon, and we asked the audience, what is your least favourite bit of jargon?
Apropos.
I hate the word buzzword. I hate that word. I don't think I really hate the word. I think I hate the people who use the word.
When people say I was literally dying, the word literally, when it literally doesn't mean literally.
Jargon, probably. Yeah. The word jargon is quite annoying. Yeah.
At the end of the day, I hate that.
There's a man there who's mixing up cliche and jargon, but we leave him off anyway. One of the words that always gets me, because often jargon is used as a euphemism, is passion. And I knew that we'd reached peak passion earlier on this year. I saw an ad for an accounting technicians course, which asked the following question of those potentially interested.
Are you passionate about accounting? Take your passion one step further with our accounting qualifications.
Look, I'm not dissing accountants at all, right? Passionate accountants got us into the trouble we got into with the IMF, as far as I'm concerned. I need them to be cool and calm. But it's not just accountants. There are others in unlikely scenarios using the P word in their slogans.
Potatoes grown with passion.
It's genuinely the slogan of a Wexford spud farm. What are they doing to the spuds? I think they can leave the spuds alone and they will germinate by themselves, frankly. I'm just worried about this huge outburst of passion. I think interviews for jobs are going to start getting out of hand.
I need to know, though, David, if you want to work here. I mean, are you passionate about working in a company that makes staplers?
Yeah, well, I've never wanted anything more in my life.
Yeah, but how can I be sure?
Staplers, they're all I ever think about, all I ever dream about.
What kind of dreams?
Sexy dreams.
In the
stationery cupboard with staples, with no protection. I just like the way they feel on my skin.
Well, I think that just about wraps things up. Just one more question. Do you like hole punchers?
Oh, I thought you'd never ask. And just one more thing. Where can I get a ring binder?
There's a general wordflation going on anyway. Like, words that used to mean something big have now been placed in ridiculously trivial situations, like legendary. You used to be legendary if you were able to run through the woods while attacking a cyclops. Now you can be a legend for attacking a bouncer. Epic is another one. An epic journey meant being away for months on end, being away for so long that a load of suitors were determined to try and marry your wife while you were gone. Now, I've heard somebody describe a sandwich as epic. How can a sandwich be epic? It can only be epic if after you've eaten it, most of the people around you are dead. Slain by the knife you used to cut the sandwich. That's an epic sandwich. Another word that we've reached I think, a peak stage of is inspiration. And it probably started in America. Oh my God, I found your story so inspirational. But we have embraced inspiration. And one of the drivers for the inspiration industry is, of course, the inspirational speaker. You know the inspirational speaker. So if you've ever worked in an office and you're all brought out for the day, around about 2 o'clock when everybody's asleep, they'll bring in an inspirational speaker who's done something completely mad for the first time that nobody asked them to do. And it's designed to get you to, I guess, be more motivated in your job. So with that in mind, I want to create a new type of inspirational speaking conference, something that maybe is more real to people, is more accessible. So I'm not going to call it Drive Vision or Excite Amazing. I'm going to call it It'll Do. Here's the first ad for my new perspirational conference, It'll Do.
Introducing It'll Do, a new type of inspirational conference. Hear from world-famous perspirational speakers such as Barry Costello.
I was 39, I was stuck in a rut, my career was going nowhere. But then one day, I just realised, sure, it could be worse. I could be dead. I'll just plough on.
We look at ways for you to live your life exactly the way it is, to learn new skills to cope with the modern world.
I found that I was bottling things up.
Skills such as bottling it up. How keeping it to yourself is the best policy. There's been enough old talk around the place.
No one wants to hear your shite. Have a pint. You'll feel a lot better.
This conference won't change your life, but at least you'll stop going on about it all the time. Terms and conditions apply. Just book the tickets and we'll book the speakers we can afford. No sense getting carried away.
And for the year that's in it, Margaret, we can't forget politicians and their speech patterns. Are they made that way or born that way, or is it something they learn?
It's a very good question. I think it depends who you're listening to, right? I mean, the best of them, they speak plainly using really simple language. And I mean, some of them get carried away, with this, I bumped into this man today and he told me, you have to worry a little bit about that. But they don't have to, use that long-winded jargon and go on and get you in order to get your attention. They just need words and phrases and stories that people can connect to. So sadly, too many of them are missing out on it. But even though, the voters can smell the cow manure on that a mile off. And I know this one guy who's a politician who shall remain nameless, who has a wonderful sense of humor. And he says that when he hears women speak, all he hears is, ee. So I think that kind of sums it up.
So to wrap up, with the politicians in mind, the best, when you see them at their best, is when they're apologising. Because obviously they're not going to apologise, but they need to say something that's in the, excuse the jargon, apology space. So it's a wonderful skill. It's a masterclass in apology. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apologise for this radio show in the style of the way a politician might do it. But obviously, I'm going to wheel out somebody else to apologise on my behalf. So I'm releasing a statement through Paul, my overpaid advisor, and you will be glad to know that Tara will interpret.
We see already it's not just Colm, he's blaming us as well.
Would like to take full responsibility.
This is Ireland. We have no concept of the phrase taking responsibility. Remember, the IRA used to take responsibility.
Obviously, we apologise if anyone was hurt.
If anyone was stupid enough to take offence.
By what was said.
By what he said, and he did, but by saying what was said, who are you going to be angry at?
We found ourselves in a position where we had to do a radio show.
We had nothing whatsoever to do with being on the radio show. Pure accident. Woke up one day and we were on the radio. Would have much preferred if we had never gone on the bloody thing.
Colm would like to thank his wife and baby daughter for their support.
So if you're angry at a baby. What kind of monster are you?
I'd now like to move on and make sure that this kind of thing doesn't happen again.
You'll have forgotten by Monday.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Colm O'Regan Wants a Word in Public. My sincere thanks to the wonderful Tara Flynn and Paul Tylack. And also the amazingly clear, inspirational, passionate, empowering and truly wonderful lady that is Margaret E Ward, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Words in paper, words in books, words on TV, words for books, words of comfort, words of peace, words to make the fighting cease, words to tell you what